Hello and welcome to MCFC 9320 PUBcast. Tonight we are delighted to have an absolute huge blue, Mr. John Stapleton. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thanks for the invitation. Good to be here.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you for coming on, mate. Much appreciated. Also, we've got Paddy and Marie and Riz, who looks like me dad.
Yeah, your dad started young, obviously.
Well, yeah. Thanks for everybody in the chat as well. You know, and as the format's exactly the same, any questions you've got for us, just fire them in the chat and we will read them out. So, 2-0 yesterday. There's a lot of positives. We'll come to you first, John. Yeah, we will get to the atmosphere in that, in a bit. Do you feel like at the moment we're only, like we spoke about just before we went on live, do you feel that we're going up a gear when we need to at the moment?
Well, one way of looking at it is we manage games well. We managed that game well in the end yesterday. But I must say, I was disappointed with the first half. I was sitting next to somebody who said to me, these players realise that if they win today, they can go top of the league because they weren't playing as though they did. I mean, we didn't have a shot on target in the first half. I don't think we had a shot on target until Erling Haaland scored, which is not usual for City. I thought it was a bit low key. I thought it lacked a bit of urgency. I thought it lacked tempo until Kevin De Bruyne came on, and in fairness, Kyle Walker. The 2 goals were magnificent. I mean, it was worth the trip. I live down in London, as you probably know. It was worth the trip north just to see those 2 goals. So overall, I don't think it was our finest performance by a long measure, but we got there in the end, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Absolutely, mate. And it's just you could just feel the frustration when Haaland got his first. He just seemed to lift him, and his second goal. Was it against West Ham? His first goal for us. We away to West Ham. The way his body language, the way he body swerved it and took it in. Riz. It was just. To me, it just seemed like a weight came off his shoulders.
Yeah, it was so Haaland-esque, if you like. It was just, I kind of felt sorry for the player who he bundled over. He had a great game, I thought, that lad. He maybe one to watch for us. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, there was only going to be one winner, and the only sort of doubt was could he finish it? He finished it with aplomb, didn't he? It was superb. As you say, it was all Haaland. It was all his strength, his pace, and clinical finishing. And you know what? I absolutely love. He loves scoring. The beam on his face was amazing. He was absolutely buzzing to score. And he will never get fed up of it. Long may it continue.
Yeah, it just and it was back to reality, wasn't it, Anne-Marie, with Haaland's assist? Who did it come off? Mr. KDB himself, with a great. But I must say, Aki had a huge influence in that goal as well. The way Aki, carried it forward to De Bruyne.
Yeah, you're spot on, Andy. It was interesting. I was at the game and I was sat next to somebody I don't normally sit next to. He was a teenager and he actually said midway through the first half, I don't rate Haaland. I just sat there and quite casually just said, I said, you don't watch much football, do you? He said, I do. I said, no, you don't. I said, because if you did, you'd know how good Haaland actually is.
At about that stage, someone texted me to say, you need a new striker. So after each scored, I texted back saying, you may wish to rethink that remark. Sorry, Amory.
No, it's right, because literally when the first goal went in, I turned round to him and said, and what did you think of that? And he said he'd got it wrong. Fair play to him. But
he couldn't exactly say it right, could he?
I know we get it wrong. I know we talk about it a lot on here. But yesterday, I think regular fans were outnumbered by day trippers.
Just like we're always open and honest on it, Anne-Marie.
Well, I know. The only reason I say that is because I sold my dad's ticket for yesterday's game, and I had somebody sat next to me, who on the other side of me, and I nearly said to them, you'd have been cheaper staying at home and watching it on the telly if you wanted to watch it on a screen. Because he spent so much time filming the game rather than actually watching it.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's one of those, the atmosphere wasn't great yesterday. I think when the first goal went in, it was just a huge sense of relief all around the stadium. But the encouraging thing is that we just kept going. We didn't at any point kind of give up or looked frustrated. A bit disappointed that VAR didn't look at the challenge on Ederson, because I think in reality that could have been a red card for Godfrey, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know what, Anne-Marie, sorry to interrupt, but I think a lot of people, the kick out was that far after the initial contact that I don't think people have played the clip long enough, because I've seen it a lot on Twitter where people said, what you're on about? And it's not until you play the clip, keep playing the clip after the initial contact, that you see it. So, you know,
you're dead
possibly
right.
that's why it missed. It was that late on after the initial challenge.
Even match of the day when they showed it and they showed the replay of it, you didn't see the kick out. But he definitely did have a go at kicking him in the face.
Yeah,
right. Paddy, I think it was about 2 hours after, maybe less, after the match yesterday, the Premier League actually took that footage down of that clip where everybody was retweeting. So for it not to be on Match of the Day, not even discussed on Match of the Day, not really discussed anywhere, that was a straight red. Like, nothing will happen retrospectively now, because I should imagine that's what VAR's there for. It just leaves a nasty taste in the mouth, because at the end of the day, that was a straight red card, and we're seeing innocuous challenges now where they're getting yellow cards, for instance. Whereas that, you know, an actual full kick in the face is just going as if it's nothing.
I see. Like, for me, I think, looking at it from the outside, I don't get to that many games now, but for me, I think Sky control the narrative. Because Sky have cameras inside in the VAR room where the refs are, and if they wanted to show that or make an issue of that, they'd have played that on loop for 10 minutes if that had been against, say, one of our players. So this shows you the power that Sky have, that they have that influence to be able to do that. And then for the Premier League, then they compound it and take it down off Twitter. It just shows you that they're just trying to hide stuff they don't want us to see as fans.
They took it down. I mean, I keep seeing screenshots, and it's been taken down for copyright issues. Now, they don't seem to take anything else down for copyright issues, do they? Seems very odd that they've taken that one down for copyright issues.
Yeah, that's a very odd explanation. Very odd explanation.
What's your view on things like, because City fans in the main, we seem to think that we're hard done by, you know, the corruption against Manchester City Football Club, etc. Are we paranoid, or do you think there's something in it? Because we're getting ex-footballers now actually coming out and saying, yeah, that sort of stuff went on.
I have to say that I don't think overall City are done such a bad deal by the media. You lot will probably disagree with me. You'll say, well, you would say that, wouldn't you, because you're part of the media, or was part of the media. I've retired now. I think that there are certain fans who, from time to time, and they're a minority, become a little paranoid about it. I think there's a conspiracy against Man City. I think there's a meeting at the Match of the Day every week suggesting, how can we get at City this week? That isn't the case. You know, I know Gary Lineker, I know some of the guys they have on, I know some of the producers. That I can assure you is not the case. Why that one wasn't a tackle, why that kick wasn't included in Match of the Day yesterday, I do not know. I was right in line with that. My first reaction was, that's a red card. You know, it seemed to me an absolute stonewall red card. But as regards the wider point you make, Andy, about a conspiracy against City, there are certain people, I'm sure, in the media who are anti-City, as there are certain people in the media, as in any other walk of life, who are anti something or other somewhere. They're human beings, and it's perhaps hard for them to hide their inner feelings from time to time, and maybe their inner feelings lap over into their professional judgments, which they shouldn't do, but maybe they do from time to time. But overall, I don't think City get a bad deal. If you look at the comments made on Match of the Day, generally speaking, and in the newspaper, generally speaking, I think we get a reasonable crack of the whip. There is some jealousy, obviously, because of our status and our money and where that money comes from. But yeah. I also think we ought to be big enough to ride it, for God's sake. What's important? What's important is winning the bloody league.
Absolutely. Well, I've said, John, and we have many times on the show. And by the way, if anybody thinks that I'm not looking at them tonight, my actual screen is there, so I'm actually looking at people's faces, although it doesn't look like I'm.
I was taking it personally, Andy.
I was.
It's just my setup here. Yeah. So I think even when, and I'm confident that Khaldoon will, with what Khaldoon says, we will be exonerated. We won't have anything to answer to. I believe that, but the average fans now, we will always be tarred with that brush as we cheats, or if we win it, we just give them brown envelopes, etc., etc. So my philosophy is now just laugh it off, because it's never going to go away. Nothing will take away what we've witnessed since the owners come in. So just enjoy everything about it.
Listen, if the best they've got, I've grown up being in the shadow of Man United and grief at school growing up and all the rest of it, as we all have. If the best they've got is calling us, the empty had, and empty seats at home, and we've got our cheats with this, with that, the other, sticks and stones and all that. It's just let them crack on with it. They say we're not relevant, but you go through social media, everybody's talking about us. Today my social media is full of Everton fans crying their eyes out because it shouldn't have been a corner. Come on, for God's sake, It's like, you're doing something right when they're not talking about the football on-field stuff. It's all about the off-field and the slightest little thing they can get us on. So yeah, how are you on that, John? Just laugh it off and let them get on with it.
The chant of the day yesterday for me, what we sang to Everton fans: "You've only got one charge." You've
got one charge and you messed it up.
Yeah. Or words to that effect.
Yes. Tone down for the children in the audience.
But I agree. I thought the atmosphere at Anne-Marie only started generating after Haaland's first goal. It was almost like, I don't think I always got to call him Jordan Henderson. I don't think Jordan Pickford had a shot to save up until that point, did he?
He didn't. That's the point I made.
Yeah.
But we have 2 shots on target.
Yeah, two
goals, 2 shots. How good's that?
Well, because you was in the ground, as was John and Anne-Marie. No, I'm not going to go, Paddy. When you sat there, you can feel it. You can feel the tension, because you think, we've dominated possession. To be honest, I thought Everton looked quite comfortable, with us. So you think, is it going to be one of them days or not? But then we just seem to up it a little bit. What I have to say, in one of my notes as well, I thought the substitutions, De Bruyne, and in particular Kyle Walker, was very, very good when they come on.
Increase the tempo.
That's what was lacking. Everything was too slow in the first half.
Yeah.
But do you not think the balance of the team in the first half wasn't right?
Mm-hmm. I think the one I'm struggling with at the moment is Doku. When he first came on the scene, he was obviously playing his game, his style of football, and it was very erratic, but it seemed to work. But now he's been under Pep. He's now being told what to do and where, to wind it back in and keep possession a bit better and stuff like that. And I think it's took something from him. So I think him and Nunez yesterday were. I thought they were out of sorts a little bit, to be honest.
I agree with you about Nunez
as well.
I agree with you about Nunez, but I'm not sure I agree with you about Doku. I think Doku has great speed, he has great strength. yesterday and the game before. Was it the Burnley game? He came on, I can't remember. Anyway, the game before. His final ball was a bit lacking. You know, he crossed into the box, didn't find the man time and time again. But he's a menace. I mean,
he is, but he's lost that. When he first came, he was basically raw. But you can see him now. I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying that his game's been affected a little bit by, you know, he's at the transition stage now where he's gone from being this out and out sort of like player that's loose cannon and just did his own thing to a player now that's being reined in a little bit and he's being controlled a bit better. And he's now in this phase of he's learning, and the next phase will be when he is outstanding and superb. And I think he's just. I'm not knocking his performance yesterday. I just think we're going off what Paddy said about the imbalance. I just thought we had a bit of lack of final product.
I'd still put him ahead of Grealish at the way Grealish has been playing the last few months. To be honest with you, I mean, Grealish, lovely guy and all that, lovely charitable guy, charming guy, and a good footballer, £100 million footballer. But I have to say the jury's out as far as I'm concerned on Grealish, particularly in the last few months, and I'd put Doku ahead of him every time.
See, I would put Grealish ahead of Doku, and I'll tell you what. Listen, on this show, John, I don't know if you've seen it before. We always back every single player. We don't call any players out. For us, anybody who plays in blue, we support.
I was trying to be kind.
For me, I think Doku would be more of an impact player at the moment coming on, because he doesn't seem to find a blue shirt often. Yesterday we've seen it time and time again. He put a couple of good crosses in. The pace is there. That you're not going to see the best of Doku until, in my opinion, till next season. Once Pep's had a season with him, had a pre-season with him, as the same with Gvardiol, Nunes, and even Kovacic. He's still learning. Kovacic. I just thought when Jack come on as well yesterday, at first he looked a little bit nervous, but then he started, instead of just like his normal 2 feet passes and stuff like that, passing 2 foot here and there, he was actually pinging them across then, into the centre of the pitch, which I think he's going through more psychological stuff, Jack. And I'll be honest, I don't think some City fans have helped with this Doku versus Grealish thing. They're different, as we always say on here. We have different keys for different locks. We don't want all players to be the same. We want players to be different, because
the biggest difference between Doku and Grealish at the minute is Doku gets you off your seat.
Yeah,
because you're wanting to see what he's going to do. Yes, his final ball often is frustrating, but it's one of those, and I know that come next season, he'll be a different player again.
He'll be like Mahrez, won't he, on the left?
Yeah, I think it's a fair point. If anyone can excite the crowd, and we'll come to the atmosphere, I think, in a little bit longer. If anyone can excite the crowd, it's Doku. I mean, Jack, great player that he is, time and again does the same thing. Cuts inside, beats one man, beats two, passes the ball backwards, or gets fouled. And that's it.
But do you think, John, again, we've chatted about this God knows how many times. Last season, for instance, Jack was being, especially in the second half of the season, he was being picked week in, week out by Pep. Now, surely he must be playing to Pep's instructions, otherwise he wouldn't have got in the team.
Yeah, I can't disagree. All I'm saying is, as a fan who knows next to nothing about football apart from that I enjoy it, as a fan, I'd rather watch Doku, the way things stand at the moment, than Jack. He's more exciting, excites the crowd. He looks like more of a threat.
I would agree with John, but I think there are times when you need Grealish because he controls the ball, he keeps the ball well, and is more likely to find a blue shirt with his next pass.
Fair point.
And sometimes you need that when you need the control of the game. So they've all got the pluses and the minuses to the games, and we just have to kind of support them when they play.
Pep knows that Jack Grealish is not up to standard this year. He's come out and he said it. He's dug him out in the media for it. He says he's well below par. He did the same with Walker last year when his Walker couldn't understand coming in and doing the inverted role. So maybe he's hoping to get a reaction out of Jack Grealish. But as regards Strucker, like as you say, is the chaos. Once Pep learns to control that chaos and he makes executive decisions and he is finding a blue shirt.
Yeah.
Like,
and that will be next season. That'll be next season.
Yeah, but at the minute, if you control the game, it would be Grealish. But if you want, he's going to say sit back and form a low block, Grealish is no idea because, as John says, it's take a man on, pass it back, take a man on, pass it back. Where Ducker is running to the byline and passing and trying to cross it in. And
it's
the
old saying. It's the old saying, horses for courses, isn't it? And I've always said this for years. City's had a bench that's just made up of bodies. Now, under Pep, we've actually got a bench that can change a game. You know, we can pick a squad to pick a team, if you like, including a bench, to actually, you know, to play against a certain team. And then when it's not working, or Pep sort of like has got them into, but one for a better phrase, a false sense of security, if you like. He'll then change it. Like yesterday, he brought his subs on, and the game changed with them substitutions. The game speeded up and all the rest of it. So then the argument is, did we purposefully play to get them into that low sense of security and they're feeling like, oh yeah, we're doing all right here, you know? And then second half, bang, bang, hit him, job done.
I'll tell you what's evident though. We've got a cracking squad, haven't we? And you could go through the whole squad, John, and you'd be able to make a case for every one of them starting, wouldn't you?
We've got two teams. Two teams, 22, at least 22 players who could compete in the Premier League for any club in the division. No question about it. And you're right to say. I was been slightly critical of Nunes in the past. Give him time, as indeed Guardiola. They all take time. Kovacic maybe a little more advanced, a little more mature, a little more experienced. But yeah, they'll come through, I'm sure. Well, it's fantastic days. I mean, when we look back, let's not forget. I'm harping back to the atmosphere again in a minute, but let's not forget what we've all been through. You know, good heavens. What a joy it is now to go to City, almost irrespective of the level of the performance. You know, they are a hugely entertaining team, and more often than not, we win. In fact, 9 times out of 10 we win. So, you know, what do you want for 6 months, for God's sake?
And there's another player there to get you the bums off the seats, and that's Oscar Bob, and he's another raw talent. No offense to Jack Grealish, but he has serious competition.
Good point, Paddy.
John, Paddy's got a bit of bias because he's still bitter that Jack Grealish chose England and not Ireland. But the thing, speaking about Oscar Bob though, Anne-Marie, what I do like about it, Pep is not just throwing him into the lion's den. He's doing, if you like, what he did with Foden, just dipping him in, dipping him out. You know, and now we've got a full strength squad, not just a team, a full strength squad. That's the beauty of it. We can now start giving players, you know, rests, not dropping them, but I don't like to call them being dropped. We can start resting these players, you know. But everybody was saying at the start of the season, though, you know, when we've got a fully fit squad, you know, Alvarez will be dropped. Alvarez, he's had times for me this season where he's been tired. He's been tired because we've had that many injuries and he's carried us through. But I'll tell you what, he's dragged us through some games this season with some very
certainly has. You can't fault him. He was a little bit off the boil yesterday, I will say that. But then you've got other players that can step in and step up. I mean, Foden, what a player that lad is. You know, we're talking about Doku and Grealish, but Foden, just on a different level altogether. What that lad takes.
You're looking at my notes again.
No,
but one of the things you are right, Anne-Marie, because Foden, he played out on the out wide yesterday, but it was no coincidence. When he started moving inside, he started dictating the game even more. He's become an absolute leader as well. He's 23, and he has become, one of the main men there.
For me, that's the only positives that we can take from Kevin De Bruyne getting injured, and I think the fact that Phil Foden's come on leaps and bounds since Kev got injured, and he got more sort of what's the word I'm looking for? More game time, but he got more responsibility. I think he had to, he had to step up. Yeah.
I was just puzzled, guys, by a remark by Pep after the game at Brentford. I was at Brentford, and as you all know, Foden played a blind. They got a hat trick. Superb performance. And Pep was quoted afterwards as saying words to the effect of, "He can be a great player. It's up to him." I may be reading too much into that, but that suggested to me that Pep thought that Foden is in somewhere or other, either off the pitch or on the pitch, still committing himself to the cause in the way Pep would wish. Discuss.
You know what, John? I think I was talking to a customer the other day about Phil Foden, and there's still something missing there for me. He's for years he's got away with stuff when he first came on the scene because he's one of us. But there's still something, I don't know what it is, but my spidey senses tingle with Phil Foden. I'm not aware of anything inside the club. I don't have, I'm not in the know or anything like that. But I just read body language and listen to people talking that there always seems to be something going on with Phil Foden at the club.
I don't know. I just think Phil Foden's generational. Phil Foden only comes along once in a generation. And
I would agree, Andy, but I think, unfortunately, due to social media, he is possibly on a hide into nothing, and it's not necessarily because of what he's doing, but from time to time, it's what his family are doing. I think there's been a lot of videos of his mum in various states, and that must be hard for him because he's trying to keep a clean image and not kind of do anything to disrespect the club. And yet there's videos out there of his mum in all kinds of states and using all kinds of language against people. And it's uncomfortable viewing, if you know what I mean. If it's uncomfortable for me.
I'm Phil Foden on the pitch. For me, he represents our club magnificently. The way
he completely does, Andy. But I think that some of these other things.
That's not his fault, though.
No, it's not his fault, but it will impact on him. It's the same as whether we like it or not, the stuff that's gone on with Walker over the last few months. Like it or not, it happens and it's life, isn't it? But you only needed to look at the way he reacted to what Neil Maupay said to him on Monday night about his kids, and he reacted to it. And
hang on,
allegedly,
for me, it doesn't matter how much money you're on, what profession you're in. If somebody starts having a dig at your family, that goes.
Yes, it does. 100% it does. No one's disagreeing. But at the same time, that's going to have an impact on his game because people will know how to get at him, whether we like it or not.
I think yesterday when he come on, I thought he give us absolutely.
I know, but you just needed to, in the scheme of things, what he was up against yesterday was. To me, yesterday, Everton were an absolute disgrace.
I agree.
Because
mainly down to Godfrey again, because if you remember last season, Godfrey was having a go at Haaland. One where it's still a good meme now with Haaland giving it all in. What you see
every time they got touched, they went down, they were rolling around, and there was nothing wrong with them. I think it was in the second half, I can't remember whether it was actually Ashley Young that went down twice in the space of a few minutes and had the trainer on both times, or it was somebody on that side of the pitch. And
That's just habit because he used to play for United, though.
That stopped though, didn't it? Did you notice that all the rolling around stopped and the time wasting stopped when they went a goal down?
But
It's funny that, isn't it? That's some magic sponge. I think Roy Bailey would love one of them sponges.
Why do clubs get away with it when they come and play at the Etihad? I guarantee that if we did that once in a game away from home and Edison held the ball for a bit, he'd be getting booked.
We've seen it time and time again.
We've seen that happen. Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Just before you kick on, can I go back to Foden, please, just to make a point about Phil Foden?
Push him.
Yes, he was in the papers quite a lot going back along. And I think the turning point for Phil Foden was when he was at that boxing match and he had to be put in the assigned room by security. Phil Foden hasn't been in the papers since. And my fear for Phil Foden at that time was Jack Grealish was taking him down a very bad road. Because if you remember back when Pep went to Barcelona, when Aguero retired, and Grealish and Foden landed in the training, hungover, and were sent home and dropped. They were benched for the next 3 matches. I definitely thought Grealish had a bad influence on Foden when he first came. But since Foden in that boxing match, you can't say Phil Foden's been in the papers because he hasn't. Yes, his mother has, and yes, that's going to affect his mentality, his whole life. We're all human beings. What's happening at home is going to affect your work and your performance. I don't care who you are. You're not a robot. But you can't say Phil Foden has been in the papers for anything bad in the last 18 months, 2 years.
You tell her, Paddy. You tell her. You put Anne-Marie back in her place, Paddy. Right. What I speak about, and it's not a bad link actually with what Anne-Marie was saying. As it's going across the screen. I was thinking yesterday, and I don't know why I've not thought about it before. Imagine, right, all the time wasting. We'll use yesterday's match as an example. All the time wasting what Everton did, and the board goes up 10 minutes. Added on time because of time wasting and stuff like that. And Everton score a late winner. So the team what's not time wasting actually get punished over the team what's time wasting.
Well, Sam Allardyce in his podcast with Natalie picked that up very well. The goalkeeper, right, of the losing teams, if a team is losing, say like 2-0, and a goalkeeper is taking, say, 50, 60 seconds with a ball, he won't get booked. But if the one-in keeper who's 2-0 up or 3-0 up, and he takes more than a lot of time, he gets booked. So where's the fairness in that?
And it's happened with Edison, hasn't it? We see it a lot at Edison has been booked for time wasting when the opposition have been the opposition goalkeeper has been doing it all through the game. And then sometimes the opposition goalkeeper,
Last season in particular, opposing goalkeepers wasted minute after minute just hanging on to the ball and never got close until the last 5 or 10 minutes, even if then. I agree. I think you raised a very interesting point, Andy, about extra time. I've not thought about that before, but I suppose
I do have the good thought, John.
It's not very often, John. Not very often.
He's thought long and hard about it, obviously. No, I think it does give them an advantage in a way, but of course, to score a goal, you've got to concede. The defense concede a point. Sorry, go on.
How did they get 3 minutes at the beginning in the first half when Edison was injured for? I think somebody timed it. It was something like 3 minutes and 44 seconds.
Pass. Don't know. I haven't a clue.
Oh, Riz is frozen.
He might have spoke a bit of sense, and he's got some sort of detector on, sense detector, and it knocks him off or something.
Even Big Sam and he made a further point about that. Say if the opposition goalkeeper is booked for time wasting, right, or he's not booked, but he should have been booked, and then later on in the game he comes out and he does a tackle, and he gets a yellow card. Well, he's only getting 1 yellow card, where that should have been his second, and he should be off. But you see, they don't enforce the rules.
Listen, there's a lot Oh, Riz is back.
I don't know what happened there. I was in full flow and off it went.
I thought
You returned probably by the BBC, Rich.
I thought you had a BS detector on, and when you talk BS, Riz, I thought.
Listen, I'd never get on the internet if that was the case.
but yeah, I don't know what it just dawned on me. I thought that could have been a different game, because we see it time and time again, week in, week out. It's not an advantage. I've always had in my head, or if a team's time waste, it's all right because the referee will add on 10 minutes, so we'll be all right. But it could actually have the opposite effect, Anne-Marie.
Well, of course it could, because there were times yesterday when you kind of looked and thought, are we ever going to score? And I know you don't like the whole typical City, but it could have been one of those games where we've had 90% possession, not managed to score, and they go and score a winner in the last minute.
On the other hand, let's play devil's advocate. It does give us the opportunity to score yet another goal.
Well,
there's two ways of looking at it, John, isn't there? And that's the flip side, that in those extra 10 minutes we could score 2 or 3 goals.
Exactly.
So there's two ways of looking at it, depending on what shirt you've got on.
Bring on the Viking.
Exactly. Bring on the beach shield.
Mark Prendergast says, good to see fellow Dentonian, John. I know Denton very, very well.
He's very close. But that was my grandparents, actually. I was born in Oldham, but and brought up in Savile. But
he's one of me. He's one of me.
I tell you, I'm not going to say anything, Riz.
I deny all responsibility.
Yeah. That was the posh bit, though, Saddleworth, wasn't it? That's the posh bit.
It wasn't when I lived there, mate.
How was it that? Was it?
It came posh after I left.
I'm at the opposite end, me, John. I'm on Fitted Hill, me, so I'm a Fitted Hillbilly, so I'm...
I remember it very well.
Riz, there's no such fit. You're more like fit and ill. That's about what you are. Fit and ill.
I take that as a compliment.
Well, I just like a couple of things. Like the new blue card. What's on the verge of coming out. Why don't people just leave football alone, John? Because they're just ruining it now. And I must admit, and I've said to the guys before, I think this could potentially be my last season going to watch City, because it's the fun is going for me now. I'm not enjoying going.
You get very serious withdrawal symptoms, mate. Don't even contemplate it. As for the blue card, I mean, I completely agree. Forget it. Will you stop meddling with our game? For heaven's sake, give us a break. It'd be more delays, more controversy, needless controversy. Don't need it. The jury's out as far as VAR is concerned, in my opinion. On the one hand, I can see its value. On the other, I just wish to God it didn't take so long. I just wish to God it involved the fans in the stadium in the process of their views, because I think it's an insult to the paying customers not to include them in their thinking and give them a clue as to what's going on. So, any more interference, any more changes? No, thank you very much indeed. Waste of time.
Because goal line technology works brilliantly well. It takes a millisecond for it to do. Was it the World Club Championships? Was it when they had the VAR and they was doing it in seconds? The drawing the lines, boom. So it was taking about 30 seconds. For me, if it takes longer than 30 seconds, I don't care if it's a goal against us. Just give the goal, because if it's that, if they're measuring fingernails and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
listen,
the Premiership rejected the automated VAR. They rejected that.
Yeah, well, wonder why. Why. To me, if you've got to draw a line out and look at it from 20 angles, give the online decision the on-field decision. It's like you can't, if you've got to draw and sort of like, he was a toenail offside. It's not offside then, is it? Just whatever the referee gave the decision for, that's what
You're frozen again, Riz.
I tell you what, when John lived in Oldham, they had decent internet, mate.
Yeah.
Not right now.
Yeah, that's because he's using somebody else's and not paying for his own.
When John lived in Oldham, then he'd invented mobile phones. He'd go to a red telephone box with pennies in it, mate.
Just, I should do a screenshot of that for him, should I? And put it as a profile picture.
It's disappeared. It's taking offence now.
Oh, he's coming back.
Oh, here it is.
He's took more than offence, John. He takes more than takes all wheels and everything.
Taking the neighbour's internet.
Oh, yeah. So I just think with the changes what they're proposing to bring in, it's just our game is.
There is definitely. I'm being censored.
Riz, speak quickly before you go off. He's gone again.
The thing is, Andy, it's not our game anymore.
Sorry, this is unprofessional, but I need to take a picture of that for it. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't seem our game now. Let's try and be serious again. Here, it just seems like they're doing everything to derail.
What is the rationale behind the yellow cards? Anyone know? What's the justification?
I would replace the yellow card with a blue card if they're going to do that, because
I mean, it's a blue card. What's the rationale behind? Sorry, my mistake. What's the rationale behind the introduction of blue cards? What's the thinking?
Well, the blue card is like to put a player in the sin bin for 10 minutes.
Yeah, but why? Why as opposed to a yellow card?
I think it's.
Well, this is the thing, John, because if you get a blue card and get put in the sin bin for 10 minutes and then get a yellow card, you get sent off. So that kind of does away with the 2 yellows. It's absolutely crazy. These people don't think these things through at all.
Riz has got a blue card. He puts it on his dashboard, don't you, mate? I can't take him serious now.
He's obviously got no comment.
Yeah, no, but I agree, John. I know what you were getting at with that, because
I think what they're trying to do is like in rugby.
Apparently, they just.
I think my understanding of it is it's kind of like what they say. You hear your man Gary Neville saying, "Oh, it's an amber, it's not a yellow." And it's not. It's over a yellow, but not quite a red. It's in between. I think that's what they're going to use a blue card for.
No, but it's one thing or the other, isn't it? There's no kind of in between, I don't think.
But anyway, it's got a very negative reception from all concerns. I doubt whether it'll happen personally.
No, I don't. Like what Big Ange said at Spurs, he got on. He's just like, I won't do an Australian accent because I can't. It's basically just say, just leave the game alone.
Exactly.
Just imagine the scenario with us, right? A player is sent off. He's in the sin bin for 10 minutes. He can't come on until there's a natural break play. And we're holding the ball for 4 or 5 minutes before it goes out of play or there's a free kick. So that person is off the pitch then for 14 or 15 minutes.
Yeah. No,
it has. They just need to leave the game alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I saw if there was to bring something in, I think I get what you're saying, John. Like you'll get cynical. You will get a cynical challenge where a player will drag somebody back, and it's cynical, and they'll get a yellow card. Maybe they could look at something like that, or just forget it, completely. But there's before I can't see Riz coming back anyway. I've just looked. Watch him come back, and he'll blame it on his internet or his iPad went off. Like with he was saying there, Iptris there. Thoughts on what Calvin Phillips came out with in the papers today? I think Calvin should have just kept quiet.
His mouth shut.
I think Calvin Phillips was misquoted. The minute you speak to the media, they can twist it.
Is that right, John?
It won't surprise you to hear me say no. Not very often, anyway. I don't think they twist something like that. To be honest,
I think we've seen over the last couple of weeks why we let him go and why we will sell him in the summer.
I think that's not fair. I think his confidence is very low at the minute.
I felt really sorry for him at City, actually.
Yeah.
I'm guessing this. I'm guessing that almost as soon as he arrived, they realised they'd made a mistake. He wasn't up to it. He was never going to replace Rodri in a million years, was he? You know.
Well, Pep made that mistake, John.
Sorry, buddy?
Pep made that mistake because Pep seen him playing week in,
If
week
that's
on.
the case, I agree with you. I agree with you. But I felt really sorry for the guy. I thought he behaved impeccably during his time at City. He kept his mouth shut.
He did.
He never complained about
John, I can't have that much sympathy for him because he came, barely played, won a treble, got all his bonuses, and has now gone on his merry way.
Yeah, but
he's a squad player, so rightly so.
Oh yeah, exactly. But I can't have.
You can't expect him to hang around in the stiffs forever, can you? I mean, come on.
No, because I think we should have sold him in the summer.
Well, that's not his fault.
No, I know it's not his fault, but I don't think we definitely made a mistake because I don't think we should ever have bought him.
Well, I wouldn't disagree with that. Although, look at his track record. Playing for Leeds United, England.
Yeah, but it's Leeds, John.
Is a fan.
We all make mistakes.
Exactly.
Even the wonderful Pep Guardiola. Oh, Pep's just joined us again now. You're all right.
Right. Has anybody actually read this article?
About with Calvin Phillips, I read some quotes this morning. Yeah.
And
He said
what?
he said he had a stressful time at City.
which is not old news, is it? I mean, I saw the headlines. I've not read the article, so I can't really comment on what's on inside.
He was upset by the remarks about him being overweight when he came back from playing for England, and he said it was a stressful time. And he implied that he'd lost a fair bit of confidence. And with all due respect, Paddy, I don't think it was misquoted. I think it was an Observer newspaper article. And
But is that wrong? What he said? I mean, so what? Yeah, somebody calls you fat, you're going to be upset, aren't you?
Yeah. Sure.
Hold on.
So it's not. I don't think there's anything out of order what he said.
Liz, in his documentary, if you watch his documentary, he had a different story.
Mm.
He says he had a second meal when they did the weight test at Man City, and that's why he was a bit bloated. So Pep was right to say he was overweight, even though the reasons were probably incorrect.
He did say in the article in the Observer that there was a misunderstanding. Perhaps that's what he was referring to, Paddy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but it's not exactly. It's not come out and sort of like give us any new information that us as City fans didn't know. He's not exactly slagged the club off. He stated that, all them things he said that you've just said, John, because I've not seen the article, that we all knew anyway. So it's not exactly a revelation, is it?
No.
So
not startling.
A quick random one here, John, from Super City says, random question for John. Who's the most famous person he's met? He's also said, what a wonderful career you've had, John.
Thank you very much indeed. Who's that from? Super City?
Super City, yep.
Thank you very much indeed, Super City. Well, yes, I've had a good run. Can't complain. Must confess, for a lad from Oldham, didn't do too badly. Who's the most famous person I ever met? Teddy Kennedy, every Prime Minister since James Callaghan, I suppose. Wow. People like Cliff Richard. I had a wonderful. I could name a whole host of people. None of them more famous or more noteworthy than the one before. But yeah, I had a good run. I was a very lucky guy, and I'm very grateful for a career that somehow or other went on for the best part of 50 years. So who's complaining?
It's a voice from my past. It's fantastic. Not trying to make you feel old there, John, but it's a voice I grew up with.
Thank you very much indeed. You were probably at primary school at the time, were you?
I was actually, yes, I think.
Oh, don't worry, no.
And your lovely wife, Lynn, as well. Can't forget her. She was a classy lady.
God bless.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, move on.
Yep. So
enough of me.
No, we can never have enough of you, John. It proves that in the chat. There's a load of and rightly so wonderful comments there because there's one or two who said they didn't realise you was even a City fan.
Well, it's very kind to say wonderful comments. I'm a professional gob artist, as you know. I hope that they're worthwhile. Didn't know I was a City fan. I've been a City fan since 1953. My first game was against Blackpool. My dad took me to see City play Blackpool with Stanley Matthews in the side.
Wow.
So I think I qualify.
Quite right.
Like,
Just
even that alone, John, like you see Stanley Matthews and stuff like that. Obviously, he's a household name without people actually seeing him play, if that makes sense. I consider people go on about me, about Colin Bell and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've never seen Colin Bell play. I know I look a lot older than I should have done, but I have a little bit of envy sometimes that, people, like my peers and stuff like that, have actually seen these players play. So
I'm not surprised. Stanley Matthews I saw once. Twice. I once saw him play at Stoke for some reason. I can't remember why. I went with my mate Jack from Oldham. But anyway, yeah, I mean, Colin Bell, David Silva, to name but two. It's a privilege to be a part of that crowd, win or lose. I mean, there was fantastic players. And Colin's son, John, is a major man these days. A charming guy too. A huge fan, is there every game and does a lot for the club in various ways. Lovely family. And Colin's widow, I saw her chatting to her yesterday. Lovely people, and fantastic ambassadors for Manchester City. Fantastic.
Yeah. He is a lovely fella. I've met him a couple of times, John. He's all the stuff he does, Christie's and stuff like that. He really is a diamond. Who's the most famous person you've met, Riz?
John Stapleton.
Oh, great answer, mate. Great answer.
You are struggling there, Riz.
I know. We've met a few times actually at the football.
What a sheltered life you've led. God Almighty.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the most famous person I've met. Depends what you class as famous. Yeah. Steve Penk's me mate. Does that count?
No.
Yeah.
Manny at the Stone Roses. He's a red though, so we don't count for that.
He knows Clinton Baptiste.
Yeah, Clinton Baptiste. Yeah, there's another one. So Alex Flo. Oh yeah, so I've met a few. I've met a few on here doing these podcasts as well. That's always been good. So yeah, I met a few of them. I've had Andy Morrison in the garage. In the garage when he had the breakdown. So, yeah, that was good. So. No kiss and tell though. Played snooker with Richard Edgill.
Yeah, it's good lad, Edgy. So do you still reminisce like we do, John, about Main Road and stuff like that? Do you miss Main Road, even though we've got a wonderful stadium? I love going to Main Road. When I was a kid, my dad took me, and we lived in Saddleworth at the time. It's quite a schlep from Saddleworth. It's 15 miles away. We went on 2 buses.
Horse and cart.
Hey, before
horse and cart then, wouldn't it?
Exactly, mate. Yeah, it was 2 buses, and I couldn't remember whether it's a trolley bus or a tram we used to get from Piccadilly to the ground, but one of the two. And yeah, fond memories. And then later on in life, when I used to, go week after week when I was working on the Oldham Evening Chronicle and in Manchester, newspapers in Manchester, I had great times. Even when we were losing, it was always a great atmosphere. It was always lovely to be there. It was always such a family-friendly club, and I'm bound to say that despite the takeover, as it were, of Abu Dhabi, I think it's remained a family-friendly club. I certainly find it that way. And I know I've taken people from outside, from other clubs, to join me and watch the game and meet the people around the club. And they all come away with that same impression. It still remains a family-friendly place. I think that's gold dust in this day and age.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's on TikTok. Gary says, "What score do we think it'll be on Tuesday night?" Everyone, he's saying 3-0 to City.
I'd go 2-0 to City. I think Alvarez and Haaland as scorers.
I'm going for 4-0.
So there you go, Gary. Marie's going for 4-0. Where you going, Paddy?
I'm going to go with John. I'm going to go 2-0.
I'm going 3-1.
I'll tell you what, I went to Copenhagen for the last game there, and what a joy that place is. Some of these foreign places we go to, as you all know, it's not easy. The officials are stroppy. Some of the police behave, if not outrageously, in a very provocative way. Copenhagen, everyone welcomed us with open arms. There was hardly any police presence, and guess what? There was not a spot of trouble anywhere.
No, it was all very well, good humoured, wasn't it, as well? And,
lovely place, lovely people.
Yeah.
You were at Istanbul as well, John. You wasn't impressed with the way things were handled, was you?
Have you got another hour?
course you can. As long as you want. As long as you want.
No, I thought it was outrageous, but well, you know the story. I mean, we all turned up at that bus station, 2 hours in a bus with no water. I mean, water taken off it for some reason in searing heat. People peeing out the coach because there was nowhere to go to the toilet. Got to the ground, next to hardly any toilet facilities there. My son queued for 1 3/4 hours to get a bottle of water and some food. 1 3/4 hours. And then coming out was just outrageous, absolutely outrageous. Into that dark car park where there's supposed to be buses. What few buses there were full. We finished up like loads and loads of other people wandering around in the dark, trying to flag down taxis on a motorway. I mean, dangerous apart from anything else.
Yeah.
And the response of the UEFA, absolutely scandalous. My son Nick and I created as big a fuss as we could in the media. And it got picked up across the papers, all the papers, radio, television, all did it, had our views and our complaints, along with those and many other people as well, I should say. And what UEFA say, absolutely nothing for an entire week until they confessed that things weren't quite as they should be, or worse to that effect. What a scandalous understatement.
Disappointing to see that City wouldn't say anything either, John.
I couldn't agree more, Anne-Marie. I could not agree more. I must say I was surprised and very disappointed that City did not speak out about that. And I'm puzzled as to why. I really am. I do not know. I thought, it did demand some kind of support from the club for reasons. There may be good reasons for that. I don't know. But
I think we're afraid of rocking the boat.
Well, the boat, is crewed by all the fans, basically. That should not be forgotten.
Exactly. I mean, but I actually bumped into Brian Kidd outside the ground. We were both wandering around looking for our coaches, and it was the car park was like hardcore stone with no lighting. So anyone in a wheelchair or people were falling over. I helped pick this old fella up who we literally came out of the ground, and it was like being in the Kippax again. We were all funneled in through this sort of one exit, and literally as you went through it, your feet were lifted off the ground and you were carried forward. I actually held on to this old fella in front of me because when we got out the other side, he was going over. So it was just from start to finish, the whole thing was a joke. I mean, I got lucky. I stopped in Bulgaria, and we got a coach over. And we got stuck at the border for 4 hours, which sounds bad, but in the long run, that worked out a treat for us because we ended up going straight to the fan zone without going into the city centre.
Yeah.
So we got lucky. We got really lucky. And coming back, it didn't matter because we just got in the car park and we all fell asleep and woke back up in Bulgaria at 10 o'clock in the morning. So we kind of got lucky, but it was shocking. You couldn't get food inside the ground.
It was a disgrace. Absolute disgrace.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and Anthony wants to know, what do we think Phil Foden's best position is? For me, it's right in the centre, either as a number 8 or a number 10. We know he can play left. We know he can play right. He can play false 9. But if he had to nail a position down for him, I think personally, right in the centre.
Well, if his performance against Brentford is anything to go by, I'd completely agree.
Yeah.
I just think he's matured. He's become a leader. Like there's always discussions on here as well, John, about who should be captain and stuff like that. For me, it doesn't matter who wears the armband. Whoever wears the armband is just there to flick a coin to see which end we kick off against to start off. Every player, should be a leader, and Phil has become one of them. Because even when the likes of Rico comes on the pitch, or even Oscar Bob, Foden is in and amongst them as sort of like a shoulder, guiding them and stuff like that. But for me, he's become a leader. I think he's excelled this season. Yeah. Anne-Marie, position?
I completely agree. I think his best position, without any doubt, is the centre. And it'll be interesting to see what Southgate does with him. But then, sorry,
goalkeeper.
Well,
he probably did that well.
I was going to say, probably do it better than that keeper we've got.
But yeah, it's definitely there. But the ability he's got, he can play anywhere across that front line. He really can, and he's got the common sense and the skill to be able to take on anyone.
So is his mother.
He can throw a good punch, from what I've heard.
No, let's talk about Phil as a player.
Yeah, but I think he's got that flexibility to play anywhere.
So what do you think, Andy, when he's interviewed, when Phil Foden is asked that question himself, what's your best position or what's your favourite position, and he says outside right?
No, he's not. He's actually outside right. Do you mean he's actually said in a recent interview, I think it was after the Brentford game, what's your best position? And he went, I love playing. That's where I see myself playing. He loves playing in the centre of mid. And he just basically, he'll do a job, whether it's left or right for the team.
Well, he's after changing, so
I just think that's his best position, because I think, like as John alluded to it before, it was just a 12 out of 10 performance against Brentford. And again, yesterday, I thought he was very, very mature in his performance. But one person I do want to talk about, before we go, is Ruben Diaz. I thought yesterday he was back to near enough where he was, and I think that's because John Stones is in and amongst him. I think when Stones and Diaz are in the same team, John, is a different player, Diaz.
Oh, I've always been a big fan. I know he's faltered a little bit of late, but I've always been a good. He's a world-class player. I always feel confident when I see Diaz in the team. And likewise, increasingly, just changing something slightly. Ake, I think Ake has come on.
Yeah,
He's been a great servant to Manchester City. Another one who never complains that he's left out, as far as I know, and not publicly anyway.
Never lets us down either, John.
I love Nathan Ake. I absolutely love it. He's for me, he's our best defender. And again, we've discussed quite a lot, John, about Ake. For me, his mentality when we had Laporte with us, Ake, he was just waiting. He didn't complain. He was waiting for his opportunity. And when he got it, he took it with both hands.
He did.
I just wish Laporte would have had that same fight to try and get the place back off Ake. But it just shows the mentality with Ake. I just think he's a Rolls Royce of a player. I absolutely love him.
Well, when he headed that ball in the ground, was it against Brentford?
Yeah.
When he quite possibly could have got his head taken off. And he stopped the counter attack. Like, there's not many football players who put their head down there. They had a ball away, knowing what's going to come.
Mm-hmm. Don't know what happened then.
Are you calling time? Your time is up.
That wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
Wasn't my meter running off again?
Andy, can I just answer Alex's comment? If you can see it. You know which one it is.
Before you do that, just read the one out on the screen, Anne-Marie. Martin.
Martin, member for 7 months.
Thank you, mate. So, read the other one out, Anne-Marie, by all means.
Anne-Marie knew Riyadh's favourite position. Alec, behave yourself.
John, Anne-Marie wasn't a fan of Riyad Mahrez.
I read something entirely different into that comment.
Yes, exactly. You'll see why in a minute, I'm sure.
I think we should end this before we all get in trouble.
So Anne-Marie wasn't a fan of Riyad Mahrez. Well, she says she wasn't, but we've got video evidence, haven't we, guys, that she was.
We have, definitely.
Anne-Marie, I know you love me.
I love him. Absolutely love him. Let me assure you, John, I was not talking about Riyad Mahrez then.
We all know Anne-Marie.
I take your word for it, Anne-Marie.
Oh, I've missed that clip. Since Mahrez has gone, I've missed that clip.
He's made a few appearances lately, Riz.
Oh, good.
You're going to get me a new one for my birthday, though, with Ruben Diaz, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, that'll be nice.
No. Anybody else got anything before we?
The women.
Just before we go on to the women, one quick question. Haaland's second goal yesterday, right? That was his bread and butter in Germany. That's what he used to do. Do you think we as a team, as in Man City, don't play to his strengths? That Kevin De Bruyne is the only one that does that for him, and it's going to happen Nunes as well.
Very good point. I mean, he starved of the ball some weekends, some days. Particularly yesterday, I think he had about 20 touches and he scored twice, maybe even less. We don't pass the ball to him.
Yeah, 25
what's he there for?
Yesterday.
I'd say
that goal we conceded against Brentford, where your man lobbed the ball and straight over the thing, and they were 1-on-1 with the keeper in no time, basically. Why can't Ederson do that for Haaland?
I was just going to say that, Paddy. There's many times I'm sat there, and Haaland is one-on-one with a centre back. Why don't we know the chances are? And you spot on, Paddy. To be fair, he's going to beat that. He's going to beat that centre back. Why don't we just do a hoof, if you like, and the strongest man wins? Normally, the strongest man is
the only one that's not afraid of Pep to do it, because the rest of them won't get a chance and do it.
Yep. No, I totally agree, mate.
We're quite often too slow in playing the ball forward to Haaland. When we've got the ball in midfield or around the edge of the box, you can see him from where I'm sitting. I'm watching him make the move. And rather than play that ball forward, we're playing it sideways. There's a lot of times when we're far too slow with the ball, and that we need to be quicker to suit Haaland, I think.
I think Nunes is going to face the same problem.
Yeah, I think I know Pep's a fan of the show, so I know you're watching, Pep. So, you can use this information we've given you, and you could actually implement it in the next game if you like. We'll give you that.
Has he got your numbers, Chris?
He has actually. Yeah, I think along with a lot of other people, they've got my number.
Well, I fax him every week.
Don't worry, hey Riz, don't worry. We've got your number, lad. Don't worry.
Exactly. I think you're right.
Anything else for anyone before we'll let John go?
Like we said,
I was going to say, do you mind if I go? Because I've got someone coming round.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks very much for joining us, John. It's been an
thanks, John.
pleasure,
Nice to meet you.
Thanks, John.
You're a superstar, mate. Thank you, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Take care, guys.
Cheers, John. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Go on, Anne-Marie. You want to speak about the women, don't you?
The women, I think we've had two great results this week. We beat Tottenham during the week to get into the Conti Cup, the next round of the Conti Cup, and we've been drawn against Chelsea, which is going to be a tricky one for us. And again today we beat Arsenal to go into the next round of the FA Cup. So we're playing at the minute. We seem to be playing so well, and we've got so much confidence. It's an absolute joy, and all being well, it'll be a really good season for our ladies.
Our ladies, yeah. We've got a church up here, call that.
Yeah, maybe you should go to it.
Me,
the roof is falling if he walks in. Jesus, pardon the pun.
Got to say what a great guest John was.
Yeah. We need more of them celebrities on, don't we?
But just not just a celebrity, but just an ordinary fan like ourselves.
Yeah. And it's like he said there. It's like I like to see myself as just a normal fan. I go and I like to watch it. A lot of people go and they analyse it and they do this. We should have done this. We should have done that. I like to go and just watch it. John's one of them fans who just wants to go and watch it, be entertained, have a good day out, go home, and that's it. I think it's very refreshing to have a celebrity fan, if you like, who's just one of us.
And he does travel, even though he lives in London, he does travel to every single home match.
I've seen him at quite a lot of away games. I've seen him quite a lot in Europe as well, the European games. And,
Anyway, Riz, have you put 50p in the meter? People want to know.
I don't know what was going on there. I think it was my phone. It kept flicking from one Wi-Fi to 4G, but I pressed this button and it stopped it.
Yeah, if you pay for your own Wi-Fi instead of robbing your neighbours.
Well, I think what it is at this time of the night, the kid next door goes on the Call of Duty or something. So I think he started taking me bandwidth. I think they call it.
So he started taking you what?
My bandwidth.
So yeah. Anybody else get anything before we skedaddle, as they say?
Nope.
No, I thought that was great. That was a great result, that yesterday.
It was, mate.
I thought that was a great result
against a horrible Everton team. You know, who just.
You know, I hate them nearly as much as I hate United.
Why is that?
Because I'll never ever forgive Howard Kendall for leaving us and going back to them.
That's not their fault.
No, it is though, because we ended up taking a load of their rejects, didn't we?
Oh, hang on.
Alan Harper, Adrian Heath. I mean, dear God.
I thought one of our best fullbacks in recent time, what I remember, is Neil Poynton.
Yeah, I'm not talking about Neil Poynton. I'm talking about Alan Harper.
What about Matt Ward? Well, there's so many, isn't there? There's always been that kind of like swapping of players, aren't there? You know,
it's because that's all we could do because we didn't have any money. We had to get journeymen, didn't we, and stuff like that.
I
And
know, but I was
disappointed.
I was disappointed when Paul Power left us and went to them.
I loved him. He's my favourite captain.
Oh, okay. Who's the best signing we've made from Everton?
Paul Power.
In that a random one.
We didn't sign him from Everton.
He went the other way.
Oh, did he?
No.
Has he gone the other way?
A bit like you.
That was very unusual. Very unusual. I always had my doubts with that moustache.
Jolie and Lescott.
Nope.
Gareth Barry.
Nope. No, he went the other way. Be like Riz. For me, Richard Dunn.
Did he come from Everton?
Yeah. Best one. The big dunny monster.
Yeah, we could never count bloody Rodwell, could we?
Oh,
forgot about him.
Billy on TikTok there. Billy on TikTok has just put Rodwell in capitals, so I'm guessing Rodwell.
Whatever happened to him, actually?
He went to.
He's still on the bench.
He's at Sunderland, I think, where he was.
Right. So let's go through some Wayne Clark. Yeah, Sean agrees with me. Richard Dunn. We've got Rizzy's mate here.
Peter Reid.
Oh, I read it. Yeah, Reid, good lad.
Should we tell him that little story, mate? What I did for you on your birthday?
Yeah, tell him.
I've
still got the clip.
I was at a function at Lancashire Cricket Club. It was like a city dinner thing, and Peter Reid was there, and it just happened to be Rizzy's birthday. And I went up to Reedy, and I got Reedy to do a personal video to Riz.
It's beautiful.
You still got it, mate. You like that, don't you?
I've still got it. Yeah, I've still got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Alex saying Peter
There's a good shot there.
Blue Heart, get Maras on next, guys, just for Anne-Marie.
Blue Heart, you can go off people, you know.
It'd be like one of them OnlyFans channels, wouldn't it, with Anne-Marie?
OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, Mark. Mark Prendergast has got a great shout. Stones.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
How did we not?
Why did Jesus Christ play for Everton?
Fuck, he were 4 numbskulls.
Yeah,
Jones.
Beyond Belief, right? Beyond Belief says Barry was from Villa. Totally agree, mate.
Yeah, it's quite right.
Yeah, Mark and Big Mark, as always, Stones, DC Stone. Oh, look.
We're all jumping on the bandwagon now.
On the what? Have you been on the Sherry, love?
Rodwell's at Sydney FC. Well, there you go. Is he on the bench for them as well?
See, I've never really taken to Lescott.
Lescott was a brilliant player with company. Shut up.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Him and company. That was one of the best defensive.
That's
partnership.
Stormzy's right now.
Do you know
That partnership.
Do you want to know what's put me off him?
Punditry.
Not a recent comment he made. He went, it was something on the lines of the first year we won the league. He basically said it was sort of like hard because we wanted to win the league, but at the same time to get Mancini sacked.
Is that what he said? Yeah.
Well, he looks after
that
the
was-
EDS players.
That
now.
was in an audio video thing. He said it, not written in the written press. I don't like that. That's snide.
There, that is.
Yeah, but then I think the following year when he got sacked, even though officially it was after the Wigan FA Cup final, but we all knew it before the Wigan FA Cup final, I think they were all snide towards him.
Yeah.
Well, there was a little bit of a camp, wasn't there?
Oh, come on. This will be a good one. Anthony
And
said
Aguero.
before we go, the worst City player ever.
Lee
Wow,
Bad
Are we gonna do another 5-hour show here?
Yeah,
It's an easy
I've got-
one to answer. You've got two, Lee Bradbury and Martin Buster Phillips.
Fucking Bravo or Bonnie.
What about Samaras?
Bonnet.
Bravo,
Bonnet.
He scored us a couple of goals, Riz.
I'm gonna go. This is a.
He was like a giraffe, wasn't he? He was just like a newborn calf. He was oh God, lovely hair though.
Before I come to on TikTok, before I come to Billy's question, have we got to throw Joe in there?
Yeah.
Andy Dibble still gives me life.
Whoa! I won't have anything said against Dibs. Champagne Charlie.
You can say whatever you want. He was on.
No. I've had a
You
few.
think Andy Dibble's a good goalkeeper?
I've had a few amber nectars with Dibs.
So have I.
He's a good lad.
Yeah.
I had a few beers with him.
Alex
I had a
Williams-
few beers with him and what was he called? Niall Quinn. Now Quinn were at I forget where we were, Bredbury Hall, I think it was, and we booked this Christmas meal, and him and Quinny were at the bar. I was in my element, me, as you can well imagine.
So
I think they left not so long after that.
Alex Williams was in Mary D's last night, and I have to say, what a lovely, lovely bloke. I mean, I've met him a couple of times, but he's just such a genuinely nice bloke.
Yeah, he is.
Mahrez was in Mary D's.
No, Alex Williams.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, lovely fella.
Anthony, that's a great question. That
Who's one? McManaman.
Yeah. I'm going McManaman.
I just hate him. I didn't like him when he played for us.
Pointy, that's all he did.
He had one good game in against Barcelona in some pre-season friendly Thomas Cook Trophy, and then he was absolutely bobbins. And now I listen to him on the telly, and I want to punch him.
Yeah, I'm going for McManaman. Keith says, I nearly said Stones, but nobody brought it up, so I thought I was wrong. No, I forgot all the. Oh, God. Yeah, Gareth Barry, just looking at some of the comments. Billy says, a quick one before we go. That's not what he says. Billy says, what do you all think will happen to City? What punishment? Well, I've said I don't think anything will happen. I don't think anything will be happening.
They're backtracking, aren't they? They're trying to change the rules now so they don't have to come out in the open. And, it's a can of worms they've opened, and we've said this all along, and they're now backtracking to get out of it. Yeah,
so, cheers, Billy, for the question, but I'm the same. I can't see anything happening. Let's have a look. Some of it before we go. All the worst players. Martin, good evening, Martin again. Barry Conlon, Jerry Craney, Joe. See Benno. Hey,
what was he called? Oh, Mark Hughes tried to sign him for about 6 years. It's Rocky Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz, yeah.
Oh God.
Fucking desperate he was.
Oh, a couple of Sean saying Calvin Phillips. So
And you know what? They said Calvin Phillips. I wouldn't know because I only saw him play twice. I couldn't really make my mind up.
I had to laugh at Calvin Phillips when he signed for West Ham. You know, like West Ham TV when they ask a new player questions and stuff like that. What's the highlight your career? Winning the Champions League. It's like, no, Calvin, no. Calvin, no.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. The lad can't complain about being at City. He did fuck all and walked away. And won what 5 or 6 medals and trophies.
Yeah. Danny Mills, Wilfred Boney, Carradi.
Oh God!
I tell you what, we'll have to do a separate show on stuff like this, and we'll have to try and get all these worst players on
with clips. Yeah, we'll try and get them on.
I tell you what does do my head in. I don't know how to say it.
Go on.
Say it.
Right, so the playoff final, yeah. All legends for getting us up there. No. They took us there. How can they be legends? They took us there in the first place.
Yeah.
They're not legends. And that came from Kevin Orlock as well. He went, we're not legends. We actually took you to the worst you've ever been in your history.
The least he said, I heard him say, the least we could do was get you back out of it.
Yeah.
We put you in there. The least we could do was get you out of it. Yet there's one or two who's made a very good living out of it.
Don't we know it?
I can't comment on that. Comment of the night, this.
Apparently, Mahrez loved it when she talked dirty.
Billy says, Maicon, oh God, we've had some crap, haven't we?
You forget, actually, don't you? You do forget.
Yeah.
You do forget. And listen, no doubt, if you start going back in time, there's even worse. There's even worse.
Yeah, well, that section says that makes them heroes. Yeah. Cadbury's ones. Right. Thank you for joining us, Riz.
In and out. I was in and out, but...
Well, that's probably why you got delayed then. Thanks for joining us, Paddy. Anne-Marie, we could not do this show without you.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah,
it's lovely to see you all. It's lovely to see you all again.
It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you.
To see you. Nice.
Yeah, thanks to everybody on TikTok joining us. Bertie Glover as well. That's another one. Yeah, cheers for TikTok. All the guys on TikTok. More importantly, Mangala, Stefan Cow, everybody on the chat. You know, it's always a pleasure and never a chore.
Couldn't do it without you, folks.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So yeah, thanks for joining us, and we will do it again. When we will do it again, Riz?
Sunday,
7:00.
Yeah.
Make a date.
Everybody. What time?
7.
Do you want to do it early before that kid next door goes playing Call of Duty?
No, they're going on holiday. They're going to the caravan in Cleveland, so I'll be all right next week.
No problem. Yeah,
I'll be able to host it next week.
I'll hold you to that.
From their house. I've got a key to look after the goldfish.
I've heard about them keys in the bowl. Anyway, that's another thing. Thank you for everybody. Good evening, later. I think we better leave it there before
Caravan Cruise.
Have a great week, everybody.
Take care, everyone. Look after yourselves.
Bye bye now.